Menopause. It's the word of the moment. The word menopause, the subject menopause, is no longer taboo. For our mothers, grandmothers, and generations before them, it is no longer the dirty secret. As for lifetimes to talk about the menopause, particularly in reference to yourself, your symptoms, and your feelings, seem to be something to be deeply ashamed of. So, imagine how liberating it is to normalize something that is entirely natural. And yet, the journey to making the impact of menopause on hundreds and thousands of women, sometimes part of the mainstream ideology in terms of employment rights, has somewhere to go. I'm also unsure as to whether talking about the menopause is fully accepted or even acceptable in all conversations. How many men do you know in your life, or even you yourself, who are truly comfortable with, or let's face it, knowledgeable enough to engage in a chat about menopause, other than in the confines of your own home? Firstly, it is common that most women experience symptoms before and during the years of menopause. Those years may vary. Just like as humans, we are all different. Some women may experience early onset problems, perhaps in their 40s or even earlier. Some symptoms occur before the more obvious symptoms of menopause are visible. And there is still so much more to learn about this time labelled the perimenopause. One of the most debilitating and unspoken effects of menopause is its impact on mental health. Most of you will be familiar with a variety of physical symptoms such as tiredness, night sweats, insomnia, hot flushes, memory loss, and tension, which are all distressing in themselves. But did you also know that during menopause it's common to experience mood changes such as irritability, sadness, a lack of motivation, and aggressive behavior? Did you also know that it's familiar to experience problems with focusing, stress, a difficulty with concentrating, and depression? It stands to reason then that if you take even just one of the above symptoms, the effects have a significant impact on your mental health and emotional well-being. In addition, if you are someone who has a pre-existing mental health problem, it's quite possible that the hormonal, physical, and emotional effects of menopause could result in a relapse or change in your mental health. Although there are clinical trials taking place, they are yet to find a link between depression and menopause. But research does hint that women who have severe PMS in their younger years or experience postpartum depression may indeed have more severe mood swings during perimenopause. Those women with a background of clinical depression are often more likely to experience recurring clinical depression during menopause. And the important word to focus on here is reoccurring. For sufferers, this can be like being on a never-ceasing Ferris wheel of misery, sadness, lethargy, and hopelessness. In addition to the link between menopause and depression, menopause has been shown to increase symptoms of those women living with bipolar disorder. Research is currently suggesting that women with bipolar disorder are more sensitive to hormonal shifts during menopause. In studies of menopausal women living with bipolar disorder, more reported more depression and more depressive episodes than those without bipolar disorder. The suggestion is that this is likely to be linked to the decrease in the hormone estrogen, which naturally happens during menopause. In turn, this reduction in estrogen can be a trigger for or can aggravate mental health problems, including psychotic conditions. Women with pre-existing chronic schizophrenia may experience significant change, including a deterioration of their illness, and then will find themselves requiring higher doses of medication to control their condition. I mentioned perimenopause earlier, and it seems that it could also be responsible for heightening and stimulating the risk of very first onset of schizophrenia and psychosis. Although schizophrenia typically begins in young adulthood, it's also interesting to acknowledge that there is definite significant peaks in women around menopause. But maybe there is equal significant factors at play when we talk about menopause. It's not simply its physical, emotional and hormonal impact. It seems a cruel act of nature that there are so many other social aspects that influence a woman in the middle years when she is most likely to feel the effects of the menopause. In middle age, most women are overly burdened with excessive amounts of emotional stress. Some of us find ourselves in the saddest situations where a long-standing relationship of many years comes to a natural end. Maybe you have children together, and often the female adapts from raising a family with a partner to caring for them and their needs alone. And equally, there are emotional stresses and strains when starting new relationships in middle years. The impact of menopausal symptoms can actually discourage many women from attempting to find a new partner or engage in a new type of life. Often, these women in the throes of menopause are dealing with what they know is empty nest syndrome. For years, they have had a sense of purpose, an identity as a mother, and it is no accident that sometimes relationships fall apart once the children leave home. If you experience the physical symptoms of menopause as well as the emotional ones, low mood, anxiety and depression can quickly follow. For both men and women, it seems increasingly so the middle years can signal career insecurities, that dirty word, redundancy, rears its ugly head, as there is no question that despite professional experience and wisdom, seeking employment in middle years is challenging. And I'll just throw this one out to you as well. Although I do believe the tide is turning, it is perhaps still easier for men to get employment than women. If you experience hot flushes, lack of sleep, weight gain, these all have an impact on your level of confidence and can be projected in an interview situation. Women in the menopause years often find themselves as the sandwich generation. Concern for elderly parents and their care, as well as boomerang adult children, put added pressure on someone who may well be experiencing mental health issues because of distressed hormones. It is important not to underestimate the emotional impact on older women in the society that not only value but seem to increasingly only recognise youth. We're bombarded through mainstream media, in social media, advertising, supermarkets, shops, that youth and only youth matter. It's hard. It's so hard for a woman to come to terms with that moment when she feels invisible. Marry that with symptoms of menopause and the mental health implications are obvious. When you hit the middle years, suddenly you don't feel quite so invisible. It seems as though all of a sudden a friend or an acquaintance here or there shockingly is no longer with us. That debate that we have with ourselves about our own mortality and that of our partner puts added pressure and stresses and strains on us emotionally. It's not common to be caring for a partner who is suffering with ill health in middle age. If you're not sleeping anyway because of the menopause and equally not sleeping because you are worried, it is easy for emotional health to spiral downwards. And all of this leads to a need to reevaluate your life expectations. Perhaps you may find yourself reassessing your values. What is it that makes you tick? If you find that your life is not aligned in the way and you're trying to manage the physical symptoms of menopause without any support, you will find yourself becoming very unwell. Rage, anger, grief are all parts of the menopause journey, and there is help out there. The first port of call is to insist on seeing your doctor. There is increased awareness these days among the medical profession about the diagnosis and treatment of menopause. Equally, it may be that you need the support of a short course of therapy, CBT, or some complementary therapies designed to improve your well-being. There is also so much you can do to help yourself eat well, live well, breathe the air, reconnect with what brings you joy, and take time for yourself. It's also very important that your immediate family recognize what you are going through, and even discussing it with younger children can be very helpful so they are aware of certain behaviors.